Welcome to Pyrography Made Easy. I'm Brenda. In this episode, I am going to show you how I use a card embossing tool in Pyrography. I have seen this tool also referred to as a ball stylus pen. It is just a tool that has a metal end that comes to a round ball point. So I will show you how I use it and then examples of where I have used it. Well, let's get started. Embossing tool. As I said before, an embossing tool has a metal ball tip. The ball tips vary in size. The handles can be made out of plastic or wood or whatever material. And as you can see, they're not very big. They can be purchased online and at craft stores and generally cost a couple dollars each. Demonstration 1. The most common thing I use them for is to create dots or divots into the wood. I place the metal tip on the board and push downward very firmly. The harder you press, the deeper the divot. Some of the things I use divots for is to create distant stars, snowflakes, or pinpoints of light. Angling the board really shows the variety of divots I created. To reveal the divots, burn over the area using the flat of a shader. The flat of the shader is less likely to catch or snag on the divots. If you create divots over a burn area, you just push the color down into the bottom of the divot. They aren't as easy to see as the first group. Reburning over them helps them show up, but they are not as bright as divots created on unburned wood. The darker the burn, the brighter the divots will appear. Demonstration 2. In this demonstration, we will burn lines. Like before, place the metal tip on the board. Press downward very firmly and drag or pull the pen tip in the desired direction to create a line. I've used this technique to create whiskers and fabric stitching. I have been toying around with the idea of using this to create white hairs, like mustache or beard hairs. To reveal the design, burn over it using the flat of a shader. Be aware that if the lines are not very deep, they can darken up when you're burning over them. Demonstration 3. In this last example, we will use a stencil to guide the embossing tool. Metal stencils are easier to use than the plastic ones because you can exert more pressure without the edges moving around. Also, you may need to touch up the lines afterwards to make sure that they are deep enough. This technique is good when you want a repeating design. I've also thought it might be useful for creating lace or some other intricate pattern. Then use the flat of the shader and burn over the area to reveal the design. If needed, you can touch up the embossed lines by scraping over them with the point of a sharp knife. This will remove any charring that may have occurred. Examples. Most of the time I make dots or divots like the ones on this decorative mandala artwork. The snowman, the dots were used to create the impression of falling snow. With this artwork, I used the dots to create distant stars. Lastly, I used dots or divots to create pinpoints of reflected light on the fender of this car. I embossed short lines to replicate the stitches along a fabric seam. I used a stencil to create the repeating design on a background border. I know it is tough to see it. Well, that's it for this video. I hope it was informative. I thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you next week.